your blanket or your pillow. If it feels good, go ahead and close your eyes. Take a big breath in to feel your chest expand. And a big breath out to soften, to find a little more ease in the shoulders, in the jaw, maybe even the space in between your eyebrows. Let that soften. See if you can slowly start to breathe in for the count of 3, all the way to the top, and maybe even slightly pause when you're there. And then breathe all the way out, maybe for the count of 3, maybe 4, so you can press out just a little bit more air on your exhale. And do that a few more times and just see what comes up or what is there, maybe whenever you start to let everything just settle and soften, but you focus on your breath. Maybe for the first time all day. I'm thinking of the idea of balance here. So can you find just a little bit more balance between the idea of effort and ease? You may have heard me say that before, but showing up takes effort. Finding a seat takes effort. Moving takes effort, but also resting takes effort. So if we can approach that sort of effort rather from a point of like what I should be doing or what it should look like or what it should feel like, can you just bring in a little bit more ease to balance that effort out? No, you've already done the work, like you showed up. You are doing your best, whatever that looks like. Can you just approach it with a little bit more ease? And that might just like start with finding the ease of your breath. And then maybe your mind follows suit. So take one more big breath in right here. And breathe all the way out. And then if you'd like, slowly start to just drop your chin towards your chest. Maybe roll one ear to one side. And then chin back to your chest, roll your other ear to the other side. And chin back through the center of your chest, and then just slowly start to lift the crown of your head. And then as you start to think about looking straight forward, I want you to just softly open your eyes. And then rather than letting your eyes like dart all around, I want you to think of or look at one thing in front of you that is not moving, an object, a place on the wall, whatever it is. Just keep your gaze there. And so a way we can also find balance is just like finding what we focus on, right? Like what we see. On our mat, we call it our drishti, like where your gaze goes and where it lands. Keep it right there. Just take a full breath in. And a big breath out. Start to sweep your arms out and up. Take a huge inhale to reach up over your head and start to interlace your fingers above your head. And now you get to shift your gaze. As you press your palms up, I want you to look up. So then your drishti goes up towards your hands. Keep them there. Take a big breath in. Can you press your hands up a little higher? And then a big breath out to release your arms back down along your sides and bring your gaze back to that object in front of you. Awesome. Now sweep the arms back out and up. Take a big breath in. You'll rise. So nice. And then twist over to your right. You'll shift your drishti over to the right. But see if you can find one steady point to look at. Awesome. And then reach back up, face the front. Big breath in. Look to the front. And then exhale, look over to the left as you twist. So just shifting your gaze, rise back up, look front, big breath in. Start to walk your hands in front of you and meet me in tabletop pose. We're gonna play with this idea of where your gaze goes. So in yoga, like as we start to progress in our practice, a huge part of that practice is where our awareness goes, because where our awareness goes, our energy also follows, our energy flows. So your drishti here is in between your thumbs. Take your gaze right down to your mat and just like trust that you'll know what to do. And as you send your heart, lifting it up, we need to drop your belly down and then shift your gaze forward. Take a big breath in to find cow. And then exhale, bring your gaze back down in between your thumbs as you round your back and drop your head for cat. Do that one more time. Shift the gaze forward, maybe even slightly higher as you lift the heart, breathe in. And then exhale, press down into your hands, look in between them as you round your upper back, cat. And then come back to the middle. Start to send your right leg behind you. Let it float, similar to what we did before. But your gaze stays straight down. Now just tuck your right toes onto the earth and press your right heel back. And if you need to shift your gaze and look at me, that's okay. And then you come right back to your drishti. Find that stretch in the back of your leg. And then spin that heel down. Start to reach your right hand up. So you open up to the right, shift your gaze to the right. And then just reach your right hand up and overhead, right arm alongside your ear. Take a breath in to reach your fingertips back up towards the ceiling and look up to your right hand. Your drishti follows. Take your right hand back down to the ground, tabletop pose. Take a lift of your heart, lift of your gaze, find cat. And then exhale to round to find cat. And then back to neutral. Now you get to keep your gaze down, but kick your left leg back. Let it float for a moment. And then tuck your left toes onto the ground. Press back through your left heel, get that stretch in the calf. And then spin your left heel down, reach the left arm up. Take a big breath in, you get to open up through the left. Reach your left arm overhead. And then use your inhale to reach back up, maybe look to your left fingertips, shift the gaze. With intention, slowly come back down, tabletop pose. One round of cat-cow, Take a big inhale to lift the heart. Exhale to press down through your hands and round through your back. Drop your head. Now start to tuck your toes. You can shift your hands slightly forward. Lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Right away, pedal out your feet. Shake your head, yes and no. And now you might be wondering, where is my drishti supposed to be in down dog? Bring it in between your feet. So keep your awareness on your mat. Within the four corners of it, take a full breath in. Bigger breath out. Start to bend your knees and walk your hands back towards your feet. Land in ragdoll pose, and maybe your gaze stays on your mat. And then you just sway side to side, softening the knees, maybe shaking the head, closing the eyes if that feels good. And then you'll just slowly, one vertebra at a time, roll all the way up to standing. You can heel toe your feet a little bit closer underneath you. Arms done along your sides, palms flip forward. So just finding mountain pose. And then find your drishti, some point that is not moving right in front of you. And then see if you can almost soften your eyes here, like soften your gaze so you can lessen the distractions. And then just focus on your breath. Focus on being present underneath your feet. As you breathe in, big breath out. Take one more like that. Huge inhale all the way to the top. Find that ease, even in a moment of effort, as you exhale. And then just start to sweep your arms out and up. Take a big breath in, just like you did before in a seat. Interlace your fingers above your head and flip your palms up. You can shift your gaze up towards your hands as you inhale. And then exhale, shift the gaze back forward and then lean over to the right. See if you can press down through your left foot a little bit more. And then come back up through center. Take a big breath in, stand up taller. Exhale, lean over to the left. Press down through your right foot more. And then rise back up, take a big breath in. Start to bend your knees, release your fingertips, but reach them high, chair pose. And then just two different shapes here, we flow. Take a breath in to lift your chest. And then exhale, tip your chest forward, sweep your arms back like wings, gaze goes to the front of your mat. Do that 2 more times, inhale, rise back up, maybe look forward. And then exhale, look to the front of your mat as you tip the chest, sweep the arms. Last one, inhale, rise up. Exhale, tip forward and sweep. Stand all the way up, palms come together overhead, gaze goes up. And exhale, hands through your heart, soften your knees, fold forward. Take a halfway lift, big breath in to lengthen. Walk your hands downward facing dog. Huge breath in. Long breath out. Rise up to your toes. Drop your knees down, tabletop pose. Take a lift of your heart, finding cow. Exhale to round your spine, cat. And then just slowly come back to neutral. You can stay on your knees. If you need a little bit more cushion, grab a blanket, place underneath. Walk your hands just up your thighs and you'll rise onto your knees here. Start to sweep the arms out and up. Take a big breath in. And then start to tip your chest or tip your body back slightly and reach your hands forward. Do that one more time. Rise up as the inhale. Exhale, keep looking forward, just lean back, hands go forward. And then you'll rise up. Step right foot forward to find a lunge. Right hand to your left wrist. Lean over to the right. Take a breath in to rise back up. Bring your hands down to frame your right foot, just for a moment. You'll tuck your back toes and lift your knee off the earth. Spin your heel down, warrior two, rise up to that shape. So your right knee stays bent. Start to straighten your right leg. Reverse triangle here. So reach your right hand up, you drop your left hand down, look up to your right fingertips. And then slowly start to reach forward. You're finding triangle pose. Your right hand can drop to your shin, reaching your left hand up to the sky. Spin your chest up towards that space. You might even look up. And then slowly come up to standing. Parallel your feet, reach the hands high. Take a big breath in. Awesome. Hands through your heart, fold forward, bow the chest down. And if you want a little bit of movement here, you can bend one knee, shift to one side. Bend the other knee, shift to the other side. Do that one more round if that feels good, but keep your gaze down in between your hands. So the back of your neck stays long. Maybe chest parallel to the ground. And then slowly take a breath in to reach your chest forward, bring your hands to your hips. Stand all the way up. And then you'll just face the front of your mat, step your back foot to meet your right. Arms down along your sides. Bring your hands together right in front of your heart. Find your steady gaze, that steady point in front of you, your drishti. Pick the right foot up, tree pose. Wherever you want it to be. That foot can be on the ground, on your calf. Maybe start to grow your branches here, your arms reach up. And if you want to add a challenge, your drishti can shift up towards the ceiling. And maybe you just see what happens. Maybe you wobble, maybe you fall, no big deal. And then you'll slowly come back down, stamp the right foot. Now here you go, one more balancing pose. I'm gonna take a breath in to reach your hands all the way up. Bend your knees, just sit back into chair pose. Now take your arms out like a T. Start to wrap your right arm under. Shift your weight over to the right foot. And then your left leg stacks on top. Eagle pose. So you're just wrapping your legs, wrapping your arms. If that feels like too much in your shoulders, your hands can come to your shoulders. And then maybe your arms are blocking your gaze, but you still find a sense of what you're focusing on. Maybe it's your breath. Take a full inhale. Full exhale. Then you're already out of it. Sweep the arms out and up. Take a big breath in. You'll reach all the way up. Maybe look up. Soften your knees. Fold forward. Bow the chest. Halfway lift to get long through the spine. Hands can come down. You can step back to plank or right back to downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet. Gaze in between your big toes. Rise up to your toes. See your heels lift. And then drop your knees back down to the ground. Tabletop pose. Take that lift of your heart. Find cow as you inhale. Press down through your hands, round your back, drop your head, cat. Back to neutral. Walk your hands back up your legs as you lift your chest up. Sweep the arms out and up. Take a big inhale to rise. 2 times, exhale, you'll tip back, reach the hands forward. One more like that, inhale, rise up. And exhale, tip it back. Now you'll rise up, step the left foot forward this time into a lunge. Left hand to your right wrist, lean over to the left. Back up through center, reach the hands back high. Bring them down to frame your left foot. Tuck the back toes and lift the knee up. You'll spin that heel down, warrior two, with your left knee bent. Now straighten the legs. Start to maybe even heel toe that back foot a little closer. Reverse triangle, your left hand will rise. Reach the left hand forward first, and then drop it down, triangle pose. Right hand will reach up to the sky. As you spin your left ribs over towards the right, maybe look up to your right hand. And then slowly come up to standing. Parallel the feet. One last time to reach the hands high, big inhale, overhead. And then hands through your heart as you fold forward with your legs nice and wide. Maybe again, bending into one knee. And then the other. Shifting both sides, back and forth. Once you feel complete with that, halfway lift, hands come to your hips. And then you'll stand all the way up. Just step to the top of your mat. Mountain pose. Just for a moment, shrug the shoulders as you breathe in. Open your mouth, sigh it out. Shift the weight into the right foot, and then it's your tree pose. Pick the left foot up. Hands can come to your heart center. Notice what happens if your mind or your gaze travels all around. It's harder to balance. It's harder to stay. So find that steady point. Maybe choose to grow the arms, reach them up. Maybe even look up towards the ceiling. Find that ease, even in effort, whatever it looks like. Take one more breath in. And then drop your left foot back down. Now sweep the arms back out and up. You'll take an inhale to rise. Bend your knees, last time, to sit back into chair pose. Take the arms out like the letter T. Now you get to cross the left arm under as you wrap them up. Shift weight into that left foot and bring your right leg on top. Eagle pose. Now you might even just find a kickstand with the right big toe. That's okay. Steady your gaze. Wherever it lands, take a full breath in. Long breath out. And then you get to unravel it all. Stamp the right foot back down. You'll stand up tall this time. Hook the thumbs overhead. Take the elbows nice and wide as you lift the chest, maybe even lift the gaze. And then exhale to fold forward, bowing the chest. Last time. Halfway lift, big breath in. Downward facing dog, whether you press back through plank or you just step it back. Right away, you'll rise up to your toes. Drop your knees, tabletop pose. Take your lift of your heart for cow. Rounding of your spine for cat. And if you want any additional movement here, maybe you take lateral movement side to side. So right ribs to the right, left ribs to the left. Maybe you rock in a circle through that like 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, clockwise, and then take it counterclockwise. And just a few more rounds of breath to feel like you get all of those movements of the spine here. And then you'll just come to a seat. Swing your legs around in front of you. Take your right shin or your right ankle in front of the left. Hands come to your knees. Once you're there, sit up nice and tall. Maybe shrug your shoulders as you breathe in. Open your mouth, find ease as you empty. And now that you are closer to the ground, come back to that steady point in front of you. So even after movement, can you find that moment of focus right in front of you, even in stillness? If you want, you can stay, or if you want to tip your chest slightly forward and then round, maybe starting to take your gaze down, chin towards your chest. You can again then maybe roll your right ear over to the right. Come back through center, left ear to the left. Back through center. And then you'll sit back up nice and tall, shift your gaze. And then just bring your left shin or left ankle in front. Same idea, sitting up nice and tall. Broaden through the collarbones. Gaze is steady, but with ease. Take a full inhale to the top. Long exhale as you empty. Stay in stillness or tip your chest forward and then round when you're ready. Maybe it's movement of the head, rolling the right ear to the right. Chin back to center, and then left ear to the left. And back to center. You'll rise up as you inhale, sit up nice and tall. Take one last breath in through your nose here. Open up your mouth, find that ease, a little bit of a sigh audibly as you exhale. And then if you'd like to end in a seat, and this is like where you feel grounded and you really would like to stay, by all means stay. But you can take your legs out a little bit longer in front of you and you have that pillow nearby. If you're using it or you have it, you can bring it underneath your knees, but make sure you have enough space behind you on your mat to lie down. So you can keep that pillow under your knees. And then slowly you can either one vertebra at a time roll down to your back or just slowly drop back, landing on the earth. Now you have a few options. If this is exactly where you want to be, you stay. If you want to bring that pillow closer to you, just drag your heels to bring that pillow close towards your seat. Now this can provide a little bit more release in your low back. As you start to take your legs a little longer, and that pillow, or even if you have yoga blocks, you could slide them underneath your thighs or the back of your legs. And then go ahead and take your arms down along your sides here. Let your palms flip up. So it's just like you were laying down, or standing rather, in mountain pose, but you're laying down on the ground. And you have that sense of ease underneath you, right? You are supported by props, by your mat, by the earth. Take a full inhale. Use your exhale to find that ease and just soften and let go. And I'll encourage you to just soften your gaze if it's up towards the ceiling. You might even start to close your eyes if that provides you with that sense of drawing inward. So rather than taking your focus out, can you bring it within? And then do maybe a little bit of a scan, using that sense of inner seeing or inner knowing. Starting with your toes. Bringing your awareness up your legs. Softening your belly. Your chest, your shoulders, your arms, even your fingers. Your neck and your jaw. Again, the space in between your eyebrows, your forehead, and even the top of your head. Know that you have put in the work. No effort, no matter how big or small, is ever wasted. So knowing that, can you approach each thing with just a little bit of ease, or each task, each thought, each challenge? And in talking about this idea of seeing, or using your gaze to really focus on maybe one thing, or think about what we focus on our mat in general, I have a reading that sort of ties in with that, that can help us think about what we see or what we focus on whenever we step off of our mat and into the world, surrounded by others. Value the power of seeing. It is one of the easiest and most powerful tools we've been given. It is the simple act of observing ourselves. What do we do? How do we react? How do we respond to others? It is particularly useful in situations that have gotten confusing or sticky, and we don't know what to do to become unstuck. Maybe when we feel overwhelmed, or a situation gets too difficult and we just can't see our way through. What happens if we just watch ourselves? So learn to observe yourself. Let yourself really see and be present in the moment, in the situation you're in. Maybe even watch yourself as a neutral observer would, without any judgment. And maybe you try to see the other person in the same way. Be able to just stay with yourself, maybe for a breath. Do it once, do it twice, then do it again. You might even just soon begin to see something else. How we look at someone, including ourselves, can have an impact and can cause a change. So know there is power in seeing, but there's even more power in seeing with the eyes of love or with ease. So with that sense of seeing yourself with maybe just a little bit more love, a little more ease, take a big breath in right here. Big exhale. And with that intuition that you possess, just find any movement that feels good to wake your body up, your fingers, your toes, maybe even rock your head side to side. You can go ahead and bend your knees, roll to the side of your choice, but be mindful of where your gaze goes. Can you keep this little awareness of the four corners of your mat for just a little bit longer? Keep your attention within it. And once you're there, slowly bring your hands together in front of your heart. Take one more breath together as you breathe in. Long breath out. And taking your thumb tips to the center of your forehead. Again, remembering that no effort is ever wasted. And this practice is a way to just remind yourself of how you can be kind, both to yourself first, then so you can share it in your own way with others. Namaste.